Oh my goodness. All right. Oh my. I should have gave that a second. So many tabs. Close a few of these. Close a few of these. All right. All right. 1 second. Let me check something. I don't know what I'm doing. All right. I don't know what I'm doing. We are live. I think. I think. Let me know. Do we sound good? Do we look good? Give me a one, man. Especially on the audio because that was fun earlier today. Man, we are back, bro. Um, I was like, yo, we're going live for this. As soon as we got off Bleacher Report, I'm not gonna lie. I was struggling. I was struggling because I wanted to talk to y'all, man. I was like, as soon as I'm done with this, I'm jumping on this live stream. I wanted to talk to y'all about this pick, bro, because I did not expect this either. Not here. Not after we just took Arnold. Did not expect this. In this first round, this was a fun day too. The draft picks that went, the guys that didn't. There's a lot of ones in the chat. I appreciate y'all being here. I was trying to find a video. I had a clip yesterday or not. Sorry, Wednesday day before the draft. We did a creator mock draft. Maybe some of you seen it. Maybe some of you saw. Maybe some of you didn't see it. I don't know. You seen Banks? That's what's up. That's what's up. Did you say what's up to him? That's awesome. Oh, now it's a two. Okay, good, good, good. 1 second. 1 second. Let me actually send this over. I actually had figured it out earlier today, chat. I'm telling y'all, I figured it out. It looked good. I figured out how to lock it. So I think we're going the right direction here. We're going the right direction here. To make sure I got everything dialed in, but I locked it. So we were good. We were good. We should be okay. Let me know if it comes back in, if it starts to clean up. If not, it probably just has the wrong mic connected. But we should be good then outside of that. Okay, so here's the thing, man. So this we did a my goodness, my throat. We did a live stream on Wednesday, right after or right before the draft, and it was a creator mock draft. So maybe you've seen it, maybe you did. I was trying to find a clip, I can't find it. I think they honestly just like wipe away, like they refresh their entire page after 1 day, so there's nothing there. With all the draft stuff, there's nothing there. Yo, hey, I get that. We did a creator mock, and at 29, we couldn't trade. I was stuck there, right? And a couple guys that I was interested in, Darius Robinson went 27. And I was stuck there. Arnold went super high. I don't know why he got 2 bucks at 24, but he did. So y'all know who I took at 29? I'm gonna just let y'all guess. Who do you think I took at 29? I'll give y'all a second. Who do you think I took at 29 that creator mock? If you didn't see it, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you who I took. Because Roasty just said it. Ennis Rakestraw Jr. I took him at 29. And my goodness, they put up these polls, bro. They grade them. Or they don't grade them, but they put up polls and the community can vote. And the amount of Fs were crazy. And I guess I get it. I guess I do, especially seeing now that he went round 2. But for them to come back at 61, y'all know I like this, man. Y'all know I like this, man. Hey, okay. I really wish I could find this video. If I can find it, I will show you because first off, the grades were, it's hilarious, man. The grades were, and I was struggling with it, man. I was like, man, did I do the wrong thing there? Who's a Cowboys fan? Ennis Rakestraw. And I hope I'm saying his name right, man, because we're going to be saying his name a lot. And guess what, man? Yesterday I did the video. And I ended up, and I have his notes with me so I can read them off. We don't have to do this in a car video, man. We can do this thing live, bro. We can do this thing live because I loved this cornerback. I loved this cornerback. And for me, you know, I think the only time I had mocked him is when we traded back. Like we did one on a different channel. We traded back to like 34 and I took him. I don't know if I've ever actually taken him at 29 outside of the creator mock. And what do you know? Lions don't give him at 29. They get him at 61, bro. Couldn't find a Bleacher Report stream. Did you use the link? I don't know if the links, I'm going to have to ask him about that because I don't know if the links are as good. Like, because I think they may just take you to the app. You definitely got to go to the Detroit Lions page because my stuff goes to the Lions page. So yeah, I'll have to ask him about that. But anyways, yeah. So Rakestraw's the pick. And I'm going to be, straight up. Like, this was kind of like, you know what this kind of feels like? If I didn't know Rakestraw, like if I didn't know the player, if I didn't have such conviction on the player, this would feel like what we did the first year that Brad Holmes got here. When they took Levi, and they came back and took Aleem, right? Like, you see those two things and you're like, man, what are we doing? We just took 2 defensive tackles. Like, why would we do that? And this would be a similar situation, I think, because you're looking at the depth chart. You just added your top corner. You traded for Carlton Davis. You have Brian Branch. What do we need another cornerback for? But the Lions have told us it's not about the position. It's about the best player available. And that's, their best player available. And my goodness, they went for it. Like, I got it, bro. So much respect for that. Because there was no way, I did not think that was going to happen. We were sitting there, react to it. Did not think there was any way they were going to take Rakestraw because we already had taken Arnold. And they still did it. All right, so I'm gonna pull my notes up here. Now I can tell y'all what I thought about this player. Because again, none of this is biased. I have it written down. I can show you. It's hard to read, but I can show you it. We got our corners of the future. Oh my goodness. And my thing is this. Before we start getting into this is a guy that can play slot. Like, I say that, and there's 4 receiver sets where maybe you have 2 slot corners. This guy can play in the slot. So I think the flexibility that you now get, Carlton Davis could be extended, right? Because now you're not paying Arnold for 4 years. You're not paying Rakestraw for 4 years, which we know the cornerback position's value is shooting up. You're not paying Brian Branch for 3 more years. So you're not paying those positions. It also allows a lot more flexibility for Branch. So if we do buy into like, oh, Branch is legitimately going to be playing some more safety, if that is the case, this draft picks helps you do that because now you have a guy, in my opinion, that's not Brian Branch, but he can play in the slot. And that's not just based on projection and his skill set. That's based on the fact that he did that at Missouri. He played both spots at Missouri. Certain games he'd move around. And a lot of it came down to which receiver was he matched up against, who was on the other side, and where was that guy going to line up. And if he was going to line up in the slot, their best. And this Rakestraw was fouling him into the slot, and he would foul, and he'd stay there the entire game if he had to. And you see it by the 40 time, right? So yesterday we drafted a guy who runs a 4.5 40. People are not loving that. Oh, that's Jeff Okuda. I saw some of those. Those are crazy, by the way. Guy ran a 4.5 140. Now he's got much longer arms, 32-inch arms, 5 foot. We'll basically say 5'11 and a half, 183. All right, so he's a little bit, he's a little bit on the slimmer side. He kind of has a little bit more of a slot cornerback vibe. And the way that I wrote down, because I try to get like a well-rounded outlook, Brian Branch probably going to safety again. And now that flexibility is absolutely there. Like, and this, you know what this feels like also? You guys know how when coaches will say, like, just get the best 5 on the field for their offensive linemen. In a way, it kind of feels like we're going to do that for Aaron Glenn. Like, just get your best 5 out there. I mean, maybe not 5, maybe like 7, depending on how much you have, what you're doing defensively. Maybe less than 7 or 5. Maybe it is 5. Hold on. It could be 6. This is what this feels like. Like, get your best amount of players out there. This allows you to open that up. But yes, like my man just said, where was it? There was reports that Holmes, he was going to get Rakestraw 30s or 40s. Just shows how talented. So I would have loved it on a trade back. Like if you'd have told me the Lions would have traded out 29 and took Rakestraw, I'd be like, yes. We were at the draft party yesterday, and one of the names I brought up was Rakestraw Jr., right? Because I liked him. And I'll show you guys where he was on my big board just so you guys can see it. He wasn't like my top corner or anything. We took that guy yesterday. That guy is gone. All right. That guy is gone. But I'll show you right here. And by the way, the red ones, I may have missed a few, are the guys that were taken today. I was trying to kind of keep up with that. Right here, number 5. There is Ennis Rakestraw. And, it wasn't a gap. Like, there wasn't a gap between the two. That's why I thought, you could take him towards the end of the first round. Obviously, I think where we got him it's a lot better. But you can see where I had him. I had him above Sainer still, right? I had him above, Tampa's actually fallen, which we've seen now. Max Melton, I had him way above Renardo Green. So I had this guy way up there, all right? This was one of my favorites. And you guys know this. So one of the things that I had wrote down, not only did I write down slot flexibility, I wrote down well-rounded, heavy zone usage. And man, the pushback. Guys, if I could find this video, ooh, boy, I'm going to find it. I'm going to clip it, and I'm going to post it. I'm going to post it if I find it. Bleacher, don't let me find this, man. The comment section, bro, when I took Rakestraw. He's a zone-heavy corner, but you're going to play man coverage. And I try to tell him, man, I was like, yo, hold up. He played zone heavy. I agree. Zone heavy scheme, absolutely. But he's got man skills. He can play man coverage, bro. Y'all know what I'm saying? He can play man coverage, man. And bro, so okay, testing scores 13 bench press reps. I love that. All right. Strong cornerback, especially for being on the smaller side build wise. He's strong though. And that helps him a ton with the slot flexibility. I even thought there was some safety flexibility. Well, man said backup safety. I even think there's some of that in there. Like he could potentially move to safety if he wanted him to. What he lacks production wise are ball skills in terms of he doesn't have a lot of plays on the football specifically. So I think that's probably the biggest reason he fell because for our critical factors, one of them was always ball skills. And I don't know that every team does like this. I just know that an NFL team at one point did it like this. And one of those are ball skills. And when that's on the lower side, that's one of your top three. Arnold, I told you yesterday, he had 5 picks. He was great in that category. Players lower here. He doesn't really have production on the football like that. But the transition ability, the reactive athleticism, the play speed was average to me. I'll point that out. The run support was elite. This was the reason I took him, man. I took him because when I was sitting there, I said, look, Nate Wiggins to me is the best corner on the clock right here, just based on where the board was at. But Ennis Rakestraw Jr. is a Detroit Lion. So going for the Lions pick, Rakestraw is who the Lions take. The Lions, to me, would not take him. And I don't know, maybe they would have. But they would have taken Rakestraw Jr. And now we're seeing that. And this is why. And I wanted to just start here because I gave him I was pressing an elite grade with him. So he was one of my best run defenders. Great run support. Is it anyone else you think we draft? Let's get to that at the end. I want to save that. Let me save that because I got to think about it. Hopefully our rookies adapt faster than Okuda. Well, I'll say this too. That was a whole crazy situation. Hopefully the injury bug isn't the same because, this player's had injuries, right? He's coming off a torn ACL in 2021. He had a groin injury in 2023. So this guy's had injuries. That's also another aspect to this as well. So hopefully that's not the case because that throws off everything. That was also not the best situation. And I think we saw that, when you have Desmond Trufant signed to be the starter and he doesn't start and it's like, oh, okay, Jeff, you got to start. It wasn't great. And then obviously not even just starting. It was the aspect of like, we weren't really good around him, to be honest with you. Like we just weren't good. So this was to me, them simply just saying, let's just take the best player here. And I got a lot of respect for that, man. So pushing an elite grade run support, aggressive style that's active, knows how to protect leverage, works back into the play after the edge set. So this is one of those things, man. I would go throw up some clips. Ryan, go watch baseball. What did Ryan say? Absolutely ridiculous pick, plain dumb. We need an O-line and receiver. Now we'll talk about that because just take a kicker and a long snapper. So we'll talk about that because it definitely is going to change some things up. Lions haven't moved at all. They've only moved up. They do have some picks tomorrow, but they're a little bit later. So we'll talk about that. We have to wait 64 spots, if I'm correct. So we'll talk about that because we're going to see how they address certain things there. But if I had the clips, I'll show. We're going to do a break at some point. That was one of those things where you'll get certain guys that'll like set the edge, right, as a cornerback. So receiver comes up on him. They'll get their hands on the receiver. They'll kind of lock out, and then they'll sit there and they'll try to force it inside. You'll get that. All right, I like that. He was the type of guy to do that. As soon as the ball got away from him, he's like, I'm going to find a football. Like that. He had that dog in him of like a Brian Branch. Like that's the vibes I was getting. And if you guys remember, like if you watch my breakdown on Branch, highest grade I gave him, run support. And I don't think we can say enough how much DBs. Let's just pull it back to this. I know we're going kind of sidetrack here. That's not even talking about this pick specifically, but we can. Think about how much DBs impacted the Lions' run defense. You guys remember when our run defense was struggling? Going back to, I believe this was more 2022. I think it was 2022. Okuda was here. And the Lions' run defense was struggling. And they're like, hey, the defensive backs. They changed up things schematically. Defensive backs were stepping in the box over tight ends. They were having to help us in run support. And when those guys were helping us, my goodness, we could stop the run. It was huge. It was like schematically speaking, it's kind of like, how we stop the run with the blitz and we create negatives. Defensive backs changed so much for us as a run defense. It's part of the reason right now where when you look at our run defensive stats and you see how good the Lions are in yards per carry, it was still like, hey, DJ Reader's going to change this defense. Because even though we're really good there, we create negatives by blitzing. Defensive backs are such a crucial part of this run defense. And the Lions have since then valued that in every defensive back they have added. Like you have to have run support. It's got to be there. You have to be able to tackle. We heard it from Brad Holmes today. You have to be able to. Jaron Arnold, great tackler. That's why I didn't think they'd go with Wiggins. Today, even better run defender, in my opinion. So that value, oh my good, that value was massive then. And I'll give you an example. We played Carolina that year. It was bad. And our defensive backs and run support, they were bad. And it was called out. It was like, yo, this was not up to par, bro. We are not making plays against the run. And then you go to games like Dallas. You guys remember that? And it was like, oh, we're stopping the run. And Okuda was going crazy. He's hitting everybody. Defensive backs changed this run defense as a defensive back, as a cornerback. And the Lions have continued to throw those guys into this mix. Everybody has to be able to tackle. So I don't want to overlook that, because I think depending on what team you are, like, you could overlook those things. The Lions have showed us they're not going to overlook that at all. So for me, that being the highest grade, I think does mean something. Charles, you don't like Devontae Walker? We could talk about Devontae Walker. He might say, hey, Troy Franklin's still available, by the way. I mean, he's still available. We could talk about that too. So I just want to start there. Continuing on, as I said, play speed, I gave it average. Mainly it's the long speed, and that's because of his 40 time. With that being said, though, as a press corner, it's where I like the most. So this is the reason that I ultimately thought that as a zone heavy cover corner, I think someone just tagged me this on X. Main reason I thought, like, coming from a heavy zone style, that he would be able to play in man coverage, especially underneath. Like this, oh my god, bro, I cannot wait to keep reading these notes, bro, because I already know what I wrote down. I'm getting fired up. Press coverage, he was great. And when you do that from slot and wide, I'm about to throw up some clips while we're live, bro. I'm about to just like pull up random, just like let it play and just be like, hey, watch this guy. We might do that in a second. We might do that because I'm starting to good length, jam corner, resets his hands and the hips, mirrors first movement really well. You'll get a lot of those false steps, mirrors it really well. Foot patience and press, hips open, but not overly leaning, plays with great balance, which is one thing I love in corners. Christian Gonzalez had it. I thought Kool-Aid had it. This player has that really good balance when he's opening up. Stop, start, flexion, easy mirror, and then fast, short steps, which definitely can help him from more of the slot position. Reminded me of a guy like Roger McCreary out of Auburn who played wide corner. He was undersized, but this player isn't undersized, right? He's pushing 6 foot tall. So let's just start there. All right. I gave him a very good grade, a 6.5 as a press corner. Gave him a good grade in off-man coverage, which is fine. Good grade there. Keys on the quarterback drop. Very good patient foot speed, great pacing. Immediate angles, which are proactive. This was the biggest thing, bro. Just pull it back for a second, okay? When we show this guy, here's what's going to stand out to you. When they run drags and he jumps over top of them, like he takes angles to step in front of them, or he'll take an angle from behind to just run underneath it. When he does things like that, you're like, oh, okay, right? Whether you want to call it anticipation or football intelligence or just awareness or, route awareness, right? Being able to kind of understand what route is being developed on the play and like, all right, what's happening here? That is there. And that allows slot play. That allows slot play, man, because you can put him in the inside. Things are happening fast and he hangs. So it's like that flexibility is massive. We know Lions love that. And you know what's crazy about all this? So I've given him good grades here. My highest grades in zone coverage. So I like him. Yes, my highest grades in zone coverage. I just read that. Highest grades in zone coverage. Cover two zone, fast cover for communication. Uses peripheral vision very well to overlap coverage. Cover two underneath, field side angles. So we're talking about that guy that's going to play opposite of Carlton. Carlton a lot of times is probably going to be on the boundary side or maybe right to where the quarterback throws the majority of the passes. So to the opposite side, I think that's going to be helpful. That's where I get my highest grade. So this is why I liked him so much, because it wasn't that his critical factors all stood out because the ball skills were, a little bit underneath because he just doesn't have much production there. Transition ability, reactive athleticism, those are good. Play speed, it's average. But it's the fact that in all different schematic spots, press coverage, off-man zone, I have really good grades. To be honest, and I can show y'all if you want, my grades for his press, off-man, and zone are better across the board. Not like to say, like, okay, one's better. Like, I thought Terrion was a little bit better of a press corner. But in general, he has higher grades than I have for Terrion Arnold. I just think Terrion Arnold hits the critical factors out of the park. Ball skills, reactive athleticism, he hits those out of the park. And he plays faster. But he hits all the other things. Like the flexibility is endless with this guy. It's why I think he can play slot, and we saw him do it. He can play safety if you want him to. He can play wide corner. So y'all know I love this pick, bro. Y'all know I love this pick. Okay, let me read what I wrote at the bottom. I'm just going to read this word for word. Super reactive and anticipation heavy. Shut off drags. Also can be set up with average recovery burst. So there you go. Back to the play speed. Cover two, aggression. Changes approach at the snap. I'm just reading out what I got. That way none of this is biased. This is what I thought of the player. All right? This is what I thought of the player. So that's what I think of Rakestraw Jr. I love this player, bro. And I cannot believe. Hey, can I get a 1? Put a 1 if you were shocked that he went corner again. Forget the name. If you're like, wait a minute, we just went corner. We just went corner. That's what I was like. I was like, no way. But immediately I was like, yo, that's Rakestraw. I'm so glad, bro. I'm so glad. And also, I'm gonna say this. I think we might be figuring something out. Oh my gosh, the ones just piled in. You guys were surprised too. I'm telling y'all, it was just like the first draft was Brad when we put back DTs. Now we're still trying to find out on Levi. There is a ton of ones. I see y'all. Not at all. A lot of ones. And hopefully the Levi thing works out health wise. But I think it's also like the reason that shocked me is one, I didn't know who Aleem McNeil was before the draft. I knew of Levi, didn't know who Aleem was before the draft, straight up. So what's huge here about Ennis is that knowing the player, you can simply then just take, if you're saying, okay, best player available, now you understand it. But then once you also understand that there's so much flexibility, and now you're like, wait a minute, he's a great run support. You can move branch around now. You have injuries at safety. You can just move. He can play outside, inside. Like once you start to get that, it's kind of like a Aleem where you're like back DTs, but you don't maybe realize like, well, one's a nose, one's going to line up outside of a guard. It's very different. Both DTs, but very different. This is what this kind of feels like here. Not very different, I wouldn't say, but the flexibility is there. I think Terrion could honestly play in the slot too, if you wanted to. What's up, King Tone? But what I also love about this is the Lions aren't drafting, because to be honest, this is the first time we've seen this, just like Levi and Aleem. This is the first time we've seen really the Lions draft corners. I mean, they drafted Branch, and Branch ran the 4.58, but that was kind of like it was a slot. We knew he was a slot, so it was like, okay, who cares? It's a 4.58 slot corner. But this was the first time they've really invested at cornerback, because if you moved to safety, if you ran fast. And what we're seeing is their first two major investments at corner. What's up, King Tone? I may have already said that, but what's up? Is that their first two major investments were not 4.3 guys. They both ran essentially a 4.540. 4.540. But what do they both have? Great run support, great reactive athleticism, and in this case, they both play really good press coverage. So, bro, you see the style they want. And I think that's personally why I like both the corners so much. Why I had mocked him and I traded up for the other. Like, you could see the style. And I could have been way off. Maybe they just would have such another direction. But they stuck with that style. And it's like, yep, you can see what they want. So now we know what they want at corner. We know what they want at DT. Like, you get a real sense of what Brad Holmes is looking for. And I think it's awesome. And I think it helps us kind of get a sense of where we're going. Love these picks, man, bro. I'm trying not to go crazy, bro, because this is actually nasty. And like my man brought up Mosley. Like, that's the thing. That's why the ones were there. I like their corners. After we took Arnold, I really said, I think today before we went live on Bleacher, I said on this show, on this channel, I said, I don't think we're going to go corner. I kind of got to just wipe all those. And I was upset about that because I had watched so many corners. I've watched corners more than any position. Ridiculous amount. I mean, down to day, there's still so many guys I have left that I had watched and broke down. And I was like, I'm just going to have to wipe this because they're not going to do it. You know, they already got theirs. But because they just said, hey, we're taking our best player available, this was like the pure example of best player available. That's our guy. Go get him. Hey, Brad Holmes, because here's the thing. I'll say this, and I don't know. Maybe Brad Holmes spoke on this. Maybe this isn't true. But I got to believe that if Brad Holmes was sitting there saying, hey, we are willing to move out of this spot, they would have been willing to move out of the spot. I got to believe there was a willingness to move out of the spot. But Rakestraw was sitting there, and he was like, we can't pass that up. He's sitting there. I got to believe their patience. They would have been fine with dropping back and adding some more picks. But like they did in the first round, you know, where it's like, we're probably going to move back. But Arnold's there. We got to go get him. We can't move back. Rakestraw's still here. What are we doing? We just got to take him. Hey, what are we talking about? All right. I love this. I love this, bro. I love this. Our family tuned into this channel. Hey, my man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. We have so many interchangeable DBs. It is nasty now. I kind of want to pull some clips, bro. I kind of want to show some video, dog. I kind of want to. That would make sense. That would make sense too. I don't have that knowledge of it, but it does make sense. I mean, he's coming off the injury. Like I said, the torn ACL and the groin injury. He's only a redshirt junior. He's got to be on the younger side. I don't have his age wrote down. I should have written that down, but definitely on the younger side. And I think it was Georgia where he was playing a ton in the slot. I can double check on that, but I think against McConkey, he was like rocking in the slot in that game. And you're like, wait a minute, this guy's pretty darn awesome. And it was honestly, what's cool about him is when you would watch him, he's one of those guys that you could watch without the all 22 and still be blown away. Cause you would see how it's kind of like Jarvis Brownlee. Like he'd get up in your grill. That was this guy. That's why he connected so fast for me. So let me see. What do I got here? I'm gonna pull something up in the background. Chat, give me a grade. Throw your grades in the chat. Give me grades for this pick. I'll tell you what, man. Just because it's the player, I'm giving it an A plus, bro. I know I sound like a homer dog, but what am I? Who am I to question Brad Holmes and what he's done, bro? He's been nailing this thing. I'm giving this thing an A plus, man. I'm giving this thing an A plus, man. Because come on, man. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about this one. This was just nasty. Austin Booker probably ideal. I would love to get Austin Booker. I'm a big fan of him as well. Is there anything else I need to say, or can we keep it moving, or should I show some clips? What do we want to do here? What do I want to do here? All right. I think we're going to. I want to talk about some of the other first round and what we have going forward, because I do think that the board, the way that it fell, some things I think were understandable. Some things were maybe a little bit surprising. Definitely still some good players there that weren't expected to be there. I think there's that. And why I'm talking about that before we get to A plus, great content. Thank you. B plus. All right. I'll rock with that, man, because I'm expecting a lot of A's, man. Because I would have gave it an A too. So I'm not even mad at you for doing that. I'm not going to go here and do a breakdown video for you guys, but just to give you a sense of what he looks like. That little arrow's going to point to him while we're talking about this. Got to get an edge tomorrow. I think we do, but okay, here's what I'm going to say about this. And I do think there's a real chance the Lions move. Keep in mind that once you get into day 3, it's going to be a lot easier to move the board, right? Once you get into day 3, moving up is not going to take the capital as, the value drops and everybody's so kind of mixed that you could use potentially a next year's whatever. Right? You acquired a 7, so you may have more flexibility on what you're willing to go up. You might be able to flip something from next year where you have 2 fourths and you don't have a 5th to go move up in this draft if you wanted to. If there was someone like that you wanted to go get. He's at the bottom of the screen here. So there is that. All right. So there is that aspect. I can't remember what else I was going to say. So there's that. I will say this, though, about edge specifically, because to me, this was the one position where it felt like the Lions, I think the Lions believe they have their future answers here. We have to keep in mind. Think about this. The last season, the Lions, Levi was coming off an injury. We only saw him a little bit. But the Lions bought into Levi. They believed in Levi. They gave him an opportunity. They left the door open for him to step in and go, right? They left the door open for him to play and prove himself. And we saw a little bit of that. But they left it open. They say they're going to build through the draft, right? So when you say you're about to build through the draft, you then have to believe in those draft picks. Those are their guys. And what they did with Levi last season, really not addressing interior defensive line. It was hey, we got Levi, we got Aleem. We're going to be good here. And they added Broderick Martin, but they didn't add anybody with Levi. And unfortunately, with injury stuff like that, we had to see guys like Alualu and other guys kind of step in, try to give us some things. Think about what the Lions have done at defensive end, right? If the Lions, let's just say this, for example, let's just make it simple. Let's say the Lions, let me focus real quick. Let's say the Lions would have taken a defensive end at 61, right? Let's just say they would have taken a defensive end. Where did they take Josh Paschal? 46, I think, 46. So when they took Josh Paschal, knowing that he was coming off an injury, so it was going to take some time, they believed in that guy being a future piece. They believe in Ennis Rakestraw being a future piece. It might take some time, development. Dan Campbell's already told us that, outside of the top 15. So the fact that when they made that pick, they believed in that guy. This could be a long-term piece. And with that investment, right, and now you have the best defensive line coach, which hopefully is going to pull. That's a great point. When you make that investment, you have Hutchinson, you've invested in Aleem, you still got Levi, and we're not talking about interior. But to me, Josh Paschal's going to have a role. I think in the Lions' vision, Paschal's going to be a huge part of this team. And I think it's really easy for us, and for me, I do it too. I get caught up in this, to just kind of overlook this guy, right? And I understand, you need things to offset it. And I could understand, hey, if you want to go a Sandbacker, Barnes is probably going to play some of that role. We'll have to see on Houston. You have Betts in the building. Maybe they'll want to add someone else to that mix. And I think edge right now, there's going to be those tweener types that you can get a little bit later in this draft if you wanted to do that. But most of the time, you're not playing packages where you have a Sandbacker on the field, right? Nickel package is 60+% of the league. I think it's 65% of the league runs that down to down. So meaning you have at least 3 receivers on the field, which means that defensively, most of the time, you're not going to have 7 guys in the box. You're going to have 6. And for the Lions, a lot of times it's 4 down linemen and it's 2 off-ball linebackers. And then you'll put that slot in because guess what? You got Brian Branch. And now you got Rakestraw. And these guys aren't coming off the field. And the reason Lions feel comfortable doing that, and they don't have to go get the linebacker to cover the slot. Test. All right, we're good. I figured out how to lock it. We're good. If you think about the fact that at cornerback, right, the Lions believe these guys are going to tackle. They trust they're going to tackle. Brian Branch was arguably our best run defender last season, regardless of position. Straight up, he might have been the best run defender that we had last. Like, I would be willing to make that case. The amount of game-changing plays that he made, getting over blocks, setting the edge. Like, how is he doing this? This dude. Like I said, even but because you're in so many practices, you're not living out there with, okay, Josh Paschal and someone next to him. Majority of the time, they're putting one defensive end on one side, which is Josh Paschal, and the opposite is going to be Hutch. Those guys are going to take a majority of the snaps. And now the Lions went out and they said, let's go get Davenport. So now you have a rotation automatically there, right? Likely. And Davenport can stand up a little bit too. So if you want to slide him outside, he can also still step into the James Houston role. He's done that, right? He's a freakish athlete. He's dropped into coverage. He played a stand-up role at UTSA. So now he can do that too, but he can also rotate because of his play style with Paschal. So what I'm saying is, it's not that you can't add to it, but the Lions, I don't believe they're like, we're off with Josh Paschal. He's not that guy. Marcus Davenport brings a different skill set. He's not the best edge rusher, but it is a thing, man. So it's just, that's the thing I would keep in mind about defensive man. I know I heard it so much. We all heard it, and I get it. I mean, there's always going to be debate, well, coverage versus pressure, that kind of thing. You know, I lean on, I think we needed coverage more than pressure. I think Hutchinson proved that last season. But I would just say we can't overlook these guys, because what's going to happen 2 years from now? We can overlook Rakestraw and be like, oh, he ain't that dude. Go draft him. Like, no, man, especially if they know he's coming in with an injury. I feel like I made that make sense. And Paschal now knows his spot. And Paschal took steps last year. Like, let's not overlook, like, Paschal made some flash plays. I don't think he'll ever be a lead on the edge, like as a pure pass rusher. And the other thing outside of that too is majority of the time you just want a guy, that can get the idea of this. Let's also keep in mind this. The idea of you not now drafting a guy, and let me make it make sense like this. There's certain positions where, like tackle, right? If you wait on tackle, you go round 3 on tackle, it's gonna be hard to find the athlete that's there that can also help you year one. It's very unlikely. It's almost impossible that you're gonna find that guy. Similar to edge, if you're gonna find a guy that's a pure defensive end that's gonna start, that can not only stop the run, but can also rush the passer like at a really high level, the odds of you, like, that's gonna take a that's going to take a legitimate draft. There's a reason every year the draft is defensive end. Every year. First defensive player this year, what was it? Was it not Dallas Turner? It may have been second. Like, there's a reason those guys go top. And even Dallas Turner is 247. So the investment that takes, and I don't even know if Dallas is that guy. They didn't have any of those guys this year. So now you have that. Finding that is finding Aiden Hutchinson. It's finding that piece. And that's the thing I think that's important about this is it's not one of those picks that you can just get. It's not like you can just throw a 4th round pick and be like, that's the all down guy right there. You might find your Houston that can step in and brush passer. And that's awesome. Everybody wants pass rushers. You might find your run defender, but if you can get a mix of both, that's what you're looking for. And the Lions, while they may not have an elite pass rusher here, they just want someone that's going to knock back your tackle. They just want put knockback there. They just want to squeeze the pocket to the other guy, to the guy that's the 2 pick. They want to squeeze it to that guy. Now, I do agree the Lions need to add edge. They need to add depth. They got to get someone behind Hutchinson. I completely agree on that. I think that they will. I think you can argue you should add into your defensive line too. But now once you get out of the early downs, you're looking at this for early downs. Right? We're talking about defensive end for first down, second down a majority of the time. Sometimes second down, depending on how long second down is. Where you're talking about both of these guys that can only stop the run or pass. You have to stop the run on early downs. But it's on pass downs. Okay, now all of a sudden it kind of becomes irrelevant because Paschal's going to kick inside. You're not really worried about the run and pass down. So you don't need guys that can do both. Now this is when designated pass rusher James Houston, he makes a ton of sense. It's like, all right, we don't have any fear here. Just put him out there. And I think you can find those guys throughout the draft. But finding the guy that does both, Davenport from the looks will be DN2. I agree. I love Davenport. I think Davenport gets extended. It's about the injuries. But every time he's been on the field, check the stats. I can pull him back up. This guy had a higher pressure rate, I think, every single season with the New Orleans Saints than what Jonathan Greener did, who just had double-digit sacks. I think a big part of that, Will Anderson. Other big part of that, they could cover. You can cover, man. You can get home. He did not have the same pressure rate that guy did, yet he had like 12 and a half sacks this past season. It popped statistically. So I think that's what has to be kept in mind is like, Josh Paschal was a legitimate draft pick. It's going to be hard to get that piece. You can get a designated pass rusher. I think the Lions will try to get one of those. But, man, you need a pocket crusher. And Marcus Davenport, you got to remember, this guy was with the Saints, man. He was with Dan Campbell. if Dan Campbell doesn't trust his character or buy into the guy's going to try to play through an injury, you think he would have signed him? You think it would have been like, yeah, Brad, go make that move? Absolutely not. They traded up for 14. They essentially made the move that I thought you would have had to make to go get Jared Versus here, and he went a little bit later than that. But that's why I pointed similarities to it, because it's kind of similar, right? You have your forceful player. Marcus Davenport's shown that. He just needs to consistently be out there, and he was just rotational piece with the New Orleans Saints. But it's hard to get those guys. So you take swings in free agency of the 14th pick, and these high draft picks makes a ton of sense. But my point is, you weren't going to find that at 61. Like, if we just let's just do this. Let's just do this because we're on the topic of it. Let me just pull up who was on the board at 61, and let's maybe you could have moved up, but let's just see what went there, because the odds of you even having a body type that probably is going to fit that position is going to be low. Like forget the fact of whether or not he's going to be or what you thought about the guy. Does he even have the body type to make that make sense? Let's go down to 61. So you had, let me go to the first D end here. Okay, you had Marshawn Nealand, who I don't think the Lions. I'm not personally a huge Marshawn Nealand guy, but again, you have Josh Pascal. But if we go beyond that, now because that would have been before us, is there any defensive end that's even selected? Jonah Ellis, not that. To me, Jonah Ellis is a Sam linebacker, which is basically what we have. Let me continue. Jalen Hunt, not that. I mean, Jalen Hunt, he played at Houston Christian, right? This is a guy, I like him. He's a nice edge. He's got upside, but it's not there right now. This guy was playing safety 2 years ago. Okay. Let me see if there's no one even else. That was it. That's what you had. That's what you had at that position. Those guys, and even this year, especially, like, to be fair to what the draft is, if you're just playing through the draft, those guys weren't in this draft, man. You would have had to go get Dom. You would have had to go get Darius Robinson, who a lot of people thought wasn't going to be round 1. That guy went before our pick would have been. He went at 27. And Darius Robinson he doesn't have much agility. Darius Robinson has played defense for 1 season. So I would just expect at some point they're going to draft a guy that can get after the quarterback. It's probably going to be a designated pass rusher. It could be interior. It could be edge. It could be off-ball linebacker that can step down. It could be that. They're going to do something there. But I also know that there's a role for Pascal, because if the Lions, let's say the Lions would trade up to 27 or whatever and took Darius Robinson, and I love Darius Robinson, I wouldn't have been mad at it. But to be honest, what is now the role for Pascal? Is he just a backup? And I didn't even mention John Kaminsky. Like, John Kaminsky plays DN. I understand he's on big. Those guys play DN and format fronts, and that's the majority of the time what you're in. They play DN and format fronts because they bring the physicality opposite of Hutchinson to let him win. That way you can collapse the pocket opposite. We see the trend of body type. They go opposite. Kaminsky, Pascal, like, there's a body type they're looking for. Davenport, they're all the same. They're force guys. They're going to rush through the pocket. They're bull rush, right? They're freakish. Those guys are just driving people back. That's what they want, pocket collapsers. And then you'll have to have those mix of pass rushers. But even to that point, just kind of off topic real quick, Aaron Glenn's told us this. He likes guys that can collapse the pocket in today's NFL because too many quarterbacks are mobile. And when you have that and you don't play a spy, bro, you better not be winning everything like this. If you're winning around the edge, if that's how you win every time, if you can't win through a guy, and not to say get the sack, but if you can't just push the tackle into his lap a little bit, the Lions are going to have problems with that, because now they're going to be asking a guy, and you can do it on pass downs. Houston's not going to have any issues here on pass downs. The quarterback has so far to go. The run threat a lot of times isn't an issue. But if you're going to do that and that's how you win on first and second down, and now it's like, oh, we're not going to put a spy up. Look at our division. How are you going to handle that, right? You already got Hutchinson, and Hutchinson will 32. So that's what I'll say about that. If we would have drafted a guy like Robinson, who I really liked, Terron's way better in my opinion. But if you would have drafted that, what are you doing with Josh Pascal? He's just a backup now? I mean, I guess. What are you doing with Davenport? He's just here? Like, if there's one thing that we know when a Lions sign a guy or draft a guy, they believe in that guy. Forget what anybody else thinks about him. What I think about him, what the other team did, they believe in him. They're like, this guy's going to help us. They don't just sign guys and like, wait, we're throwing something just to see if it lands. They sign guys to play. Bro, they sign dudes to play, y'all. Tell me I'm wrong. They sign dudes to play. Especially their bigger free agent sign. They're going to get a shot. They're going to get a crack at it. They're going to rotate the heck out of it. They're going to let you play. Mohamed Kamara is still available. Love Mohamed Kamara. To me, he's one of my higher players left. Mohamed Kamara I had above Braswell, Hunt, and Ellis. So I like Mohamed Kamara. Now, Mohamed has a specific way that he wins. A little bit concerning. I think he continuously wins through the high side, but that can be effective. May have to open up some more bull rush in his game. Don't know that you can do that, but he's still winning through the top of the rush, which could collapse the pocket a little bit there. Wouldn't have any issue with him. Wouldn't have any issue. But not that would be getting towards the okay, not relying on him to necessarily start right away, a little bit more of a role piece, and that's okay. And there's probably going to be limitations just on his build in general. I don't like Mara's measure. Oh, I like that. Mara's measurements. He's explosive, but I liked him because of what he did at the oh my gosh. I liked him because of what he did at the Shrine Bowl, because he was good against his competition, Colorado State. Honestly, I thought his worst game was Colorado. So straight up, like, this isn't like I watched Colorado and I was like, yo, hey, this guy was cooking. I thought that was his worst game I watched. It was the Shrine Bowl after watching that game combined with others, and he was productive statistically. And you see him winning the same exact way. You're like, oh no, this is working. This is working for him. I mean, these aren't NFL guys necessarily, but he's doing it. He's doing it. Kingsley made more sense 61. Finding offensive lineman later on. So I don't disagree with this, but I will say, I wasn't a huge Kingsley guy personally. Like, if I look at my rankings, I liked him. I had him below Pooney. But yeah, I had him up there. I had him above Cooper Beebe. So yeah, that would have been a fair spot. The thing though, I will say, and this was kind of like to the predictive side, I thought coming in the Lions would probably go with interior offensive line this year. Like, as much as we look into the future, and I think the Lions do too, they understand it. The most pressing thing I think you have to look at is your backup center is Michael Neese, and you don't know if Frank's playing beyond this year. So if you're going to go with lineman, we're probably going to go center. And I think at some point that's what's going to happen here. But again, they signed guys to play. They drafted Colby Sorsdal. I understand he was a 6th round pick, but they're not just going to throw him out the window. You want a great example of this? Antoine Green. They drafted Antoine Green round 7, and we haven't taken a receiver yet. Now, maybe we'll move up and get one, but I'm telling you, that's thinning. That's thinning. They signed People Jones, and they have Antoine Green. Right now, we have Khalif and guys like that, but that body type, even though they're a little different, that's their room. But they signed one for a purpose. They drafted another one with a purpose, man. So it's just like, I think we see that across the board, and I think interior offense line is where they're going to go. I don't think they're going to go tackle because of kind of the point that I made, unless they trade up. If you look at who's on the board, it's really thin at tackle, to be honest. I don't even think there's many names out there whatsoever. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be tackle. But I do think that for the Lions, they'll probably go interior offensive line at some point. And if they do, it'll be a backup center just to try to make sure they have someone there, understanding that, Graham can slide, but if someone's missing, then we want to make sure we have another guy that can kick in. But he'll have to be able to play multiple spots to just play make the roster and be able to step in. But I think that'll be his primary backup position. This draft is so much O-line talent. I bet 2 of these guys, a few picks are O-line. Absolutely could be. And especially on the interior for me. Like, I have a lot of interior guys that I like that are still there. Norzad out of Penn State, who we had in our predictive mock, he's still there. Did Van Pran go? I think he did. I don't know if McCormick went. I don't think he did. He'll probably fall a little bit. Bordellini's still there. You have Layden Robinson, who's more of a guard. You have Charles Turner at center. You have Lamea, I think that's how you pronounce his name, out of Utah, who I like. I think he's an interior guy. You still have the Michigan guys. And, Nugent gave some problems to Michael Hall, who's a defense tackle that went today. You got Trevor Keegan, who's played the guard position. You got Lee out of Miami, who's a good athlete. Like, you got guys. Zach Zinner went today. I probably would have brought him up, but yeah, he went today. He went kind of early, too. He went in the 80s. Man. Listening to him talks. Okay, I need to check this out because I have not seen this yet. Reunited with Branch, Iffy, Kirby, Davis, Hutch, Reader. Oh my gosh, bro. You're naming that off. It's so nasty. Oh my. It's so nasty. And also what this does is not only, something that I've just wanted to see is the Lions just get a cornerback in this room. Like, bro, as well as Brad drafts, bro, just draft an outside cornerback, please. Put someone in the room. Like, he drafts too well not to put someone in that room to develop. You have vets. Get him in the room to develop, bro, because you're going to get a talent. Just take one. And he did. And he did it again. So I'm so excited about that just in general. But plus, also the contract situation, because now, if Carlton Davis doesn't resign, you potentially have your 3 cornerbacks for the next at least 3 years because of Brian Branch's deal. All in rookie deals. Like, how beautiful is that? And Terrion's not that expensive. I mean, 24 is not picking at 4. He said draft Chris Braswell and Dallas Turner. Man, you might have win in a time machine, or maybe I'm in a time machine, bro. But how about Brendan Rice? Look, man, we mocked Brandon Rice once to the Lions. I don't have any issues with Brandon Rice. I think size-wise, he's there. I think Brandon Rice can help you year one, too. Now, he would he change it up from what we have? I would argue yes, because to me, he's a more disciplined route runner than I thought what Antoine Green was coming out, who's a vertical threat. He doesn't bring the play speed that Antoine Green does. Donovan Peoples-Jones and physicality, explosiveness, he doesn't bring that either, but he's much more of a deliberate route runner, very aggressive route runner. I don't love his hands, but I think he's fine there. I don't love him in contested situations. He's really good in those spots as a route runner. So, and I can go to my notes if you want me to, but he has pretty good grades across the board for me. Tough run blocker. So if you want toughness, he's going to bring that. Tough after the catch. I mean, this guy just tries to drag everybody with him. I wouldn't have any issue with that. I want to have it 103 picks before we get another pick. So what is the officially the next pick? I think it's 164. But let me double check on that just to make sure. So the Lions pick at is it 164? It's 5th round 29. That's got to be 164. So we got 4 picks left. And I wouldn't be shocked if they moved up. Like, I would also keep an eye on that. Like, it wouldn't surprise me after what we've seen today. Also, wouldn't be shocked if they move back. I mean, if they don't have anybody to move up for and they sit there and he's not there, they might move back too. The Lions will go anywhere. So I don't even want to try to predict that because they'll do whatever. Rice not a slot guy. No, I wouldn't put Rice in the slot necessarily. Rice can get off the line of scrimmage. He's actually pretty good with his release. He's got an ability there. I don't think he's great, but he's got an ability there. So maybe some limitations, but he's got an ability to get off the line. And to me, that's the biggest thing. If you're looking for like that X, it's X meaning you're going to be on the line of scrimmage. So can you beat press if you see it? Even though most teams don't play press anymore, but can you beat that? He can. What about Javon Baker? I love Javon Baker. So he was in our top 10. Here, let me do this instead of just saying stuff, which is true stuff. Here we go. This would have been my updated graphic for the receiver position. If you look on the left side here, hopefully nothing. There's a good chance that I missed some players here. What is going on? Why am I in the middle of the screen? Okay. Hopefully I didn't miss any. I don't think Franklin's went yet. Washington, I love Washington, bro. Washington gives me St. Brown vibes. I don't know if they'd go that style. He gives me St. Brown vibes, bro. Baker, yes, you can see where Baker's at. I pushed him down a little bit to move Washington up, but he was in my original top 10 outside of the top 3. But yeah, productive, size, build. He'd be perfect in all of those aspects for Lions. And then, Thrash, you guys know I'm a big Thrash guy because he's a route runner. Like, he's got real route running upside. And then you drop down Cornelius Johnson. There's Brendan Rice there. Tez Walker, I have a little bit lower. You have Anais Smith. You have Williams out of Illinois. You have Anthony Gold, maybe more of a slot there. Taj Washington, maybe more of a slot there. Washington out of Illinois doesn't really separate. This is a spot where you kind of cut off. You kind of cut off to me. Maybe like right after Walker, because Walker can get vertical. Like, he truly has a skill set to get over top. Cornelius Johnson would make a ton of sense. I think Cornelius Johnson is a good player. I really do. I mean, there's limitations, so I think only specific teams would love him, but he's legit. And what's one thing that I've definitely taken away from this, and I think it's because we've just dove into it so much this year, and I was able to put like lists together, even though I didn't get everybody, unfortunately, is look at the cornerback. If y'all look at the cornerback, you see where the red's at. I really only have 2 that are off here, right? For the most part, most of my boards kind of fell in line, with where the guys were going to go. This one got shaken up a little bit here. O-line was pretty on brand. Like, there's not a ton of like standouts. Receiver was a little shaken with Franklin, even though he started outside of my top 10. The big thing here with cornerback is that trust your first impression. Trust your first impression. And for me, first impression on TJ Tampa, didn't like him that much. Neither did I. I wasn't a huge, TJ Tampa guy personally. I didn't dislike him. I just didn't think he was, that. So for that, for example, like, I had him a little bit on the lower side, and it's fitting in well. Like, he's not standing up here and it's like, what did I miss with that one? But I think with receiver, that's one thing that I would say. I think there's a real case that I have Cornelius too low. I mean, it really is. It could be. I've seen too many receivers since then, because if I pull my notes on him, my initial reactions, like my gut reaction to this guy is watching him was, this guy's good. This guy's good. 2 top 5 corner. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you take my word for it, absolutely. To me, Lions got the number 1 corner in Terrion yesterday. And then today they got a guy that I would have been fine with at 29. So it was so nasty to me to get Rakestraw. And the thing is like, you could have put Rakestraw above McKinstry. I think McKinstry, he has specific suitors that are going to like him. Cornerback's tough because, like, Wiggins, while I have him too, just in general, for the Lions, he would have dropped way further because I don't think the Lions would have taken him. But just on the player alone, like, forgetting like which team will take him, like what's the scheme, like not doing any of that, just saying player. to me, they were both top 5 talents. Yeah, Rakestraw was awesome. And I thought cornerback was loaded this year. So I thought maybe they just wait because of that. But no, they jumped on it. And I'm glad they did. I'm glad I didn't have to just move on from corner because watch too many of those darn guys to just not talk about any of them. What was Dose has my back? Hey, I got you, crazy clown. What was my man said, how can we trade up? Is that what you asked? Is that what somebody asked? Yeah, I mean, look, it may take that. I would say, you have 4 picks. You have an extra 7th next year. I won't go into the numbers necessarily, but the numbers do drop on what it's going to take. We could use, even if we use the Broderick Martin trade, let's just take a look at that real quick. What did the Lions give up to go get Broderick Martin last year? Because that was in the 96, so that was the end of the 3rd round. So that would be like if they wanted to move up to the top of round 4. What did the Lions give up to do that? Setting picks 122, 139, and 169 for 96. Okay, they did give up a solid amount. So that being at 164, it'd probably take 164. It would probably take a next year's like 4th or 5th. And then something late. You don't have a 5th. So maybe it'd take a 4th. Maybe this and next year's 4th. Maybe that's what it would take. That's what I would have to look at there. But it also depends on how far you move. Like the Lions to me should not move from 90 to 100. I don't know why they would do that. Like I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't move from 90 to 100, or 160 to 100. I would move from 164. I was going to move to like 140, right? And if you get to that spot, you're not giving up I wouldn't want to give up a future 4th or something to move up this far because I don't think that guy's there. Maybe it is. If they want receiver, you might press that button, because it is kind of thinning out. But to me, if they're not on Franklin, which it doesn't seem like they are, I don't know, maybe Javon Baker you make a press for, maybe one of the receivers, but I don't know who you would do that for. And I think Austin Booker's still available, which would be the other guy. You can see I have Kamara pretty high here. Outside of that, you're getting a lot of Thomas is like we were talking about, Thomas is a designated pass rusher. Murphy's a designated pass rusher probably, even though I buy into some more upside there. A lot of these guys are designations. Do like some of the interior pieces there, but they're projections. They got to fill in or something like that. Will Branch move to safety? I think he could. Like to me, he played so well at nickel that I won't say that they move him out of that spot because I don't think you necessarily have to. Like he played really well there. But like I said, Rakestraw can play slot. So, and if we do say, like, if you watch Brian Branch play safety, he was good at safety, bro. Like we didn't see it a ton, but like his breaks on the football, like he had like CD deuce breaks in the sense of he just closed airspace immediately downfield. I can remember just one in my mind. I think it was Minnesota. It's like a deep out route on a sideline. He dove on that. Like it was on top of the route. And that's just because he plays with those instincts, man. It carries over to safety. He's natural doing it. He plays a lot faster than his 40 time. And then he's got range. So if he's at safety, what the Lions can do, and the Lions have wanted to do this, because number one, he could stop the run. So they trust that. They can put him in the box. They do that all the time. They play him like a linebacker. But they also have the ability to, if he's at safety, you can roll him down and put him on certain matchups. And I thought he matched up really well with tight ends in college. Now, in the NFL, I guess that's different. I mean, there is just a natural outsizing, but I thought he played really well against tight ends in college. Like, I thought he was really good at that. So that would give you that flexibility. Like, he can do whatever, man. Branch is he plays too fast because he undercuts routes. He just diagnoses things so fast. Anytime I watch him see an out route, he just runs underneath it. Like, he just understands that route development. And I think when he can see it in front of him, it works. And he's behind him, he feels it. So, nasty. He's nasty. And honestly, depending on if you play more man, let's just say this for a second. Let's just speak in ideas here. If the Lions play a lot more man than last year, they may like the idea of having him at safety more than having him at slot. Because, you put him at slot, there's certain matchups where if you consistently have him in man, there is going to be some speed issues, right? It's not to say he's slow because he gets on top of things, but there is speed issues and you're going to have to give him help. Now, a lot of times he can like leverage it to the safeties to the middle of the field. So that's an aspect for him. But like if you constantly had him living there and teams just put speed in the slot and you had him match that, or if their slot was just naturally fast, you could have some matchup issues with that for him throughout an entire game. And that'd be really the only thing because he isn't the fastest corner. So if you start to lean way more man than last year, Rakestraw in the slot could make more sense because he's going to be a little bit better with some of that vertical speed. I don't know though. I mean, I think he's great at either. So I don't have any like hurry to move him. I mean, he just needs to be on the field regardless of make sure he's out there. Okay. I really like McCormick for the value end of the 4th. I was watching McCormick this morning a little bit, actually. Trying to remember what I wrote down on McCormick. He's a multiple team captain, I believe, as well, which is something that I know is going to stand out. I think he's a 2-time or 3-time team captain. So, keep an eye on that. But McCormick's smart, man. He's played a ton of football, and he's played a ton at left guard. He put, I think, 54 consecutive starts at left guard. So you get a guy that experience. I mean, he's going to plug in and play. You may get some versatility between guard spots. I don't know how much outside of that because he does play pretty straight up. Like, he doesn't necessarily bend in the knees very much. And reactive athleticism can be a little bit of a problem. So kicking him wider would probably not make any sense. So I could see there being issues there. I can see why you'd fall a little bit because reactive athleticism is not great, especially in pass pro. But he knows how to play his position, especially as a run blocker. He positions well. What centers are left? So for my board, and I don't know what there's probably more centers out there that I just haven't seen. My man out of Penn State, Hunter Norzad, is my top center left. Then you have Van Pran, then Bordellini, then Charles Turner, and then Mike. And then is this Mike Lee? Wait, it's not Mike Lee, is it? Something Lee. Okay, it's M Lee, something like that. Those would be my next like 6, I think. Holmes the best GM of all time. Hey, yo, Holmes doing work, bro. Holmes doing work. See on Vaki. Vaki did build on me. I mean, I think there's going to be some issues with like versatility and range. Like there's going to be questions that pop in there. He's depth to me. I don't think you want him as an offensive piece, not full time. I mean, I guess in a pinch you could. It's cool that he did that because of injury, but he's smart. He's one of those guys that plays faster to me than any of the athletic testing because he's smart. He gets on top of routes, things like that. So I do like him in that sense. Bordellini would be a huge asset. He'd be nice. Now he's a good athlete. And one thing that we do know about Brad Holmes draft picks on the interior offensive line, he goes with athletes. And I know Tortellini lit up. I think it was his pro day. May have been the combine. I think it was his pro day, but he lit it up. So that alone. And what was it, McCormick, who pushed out 34 bench press reps? That doesn't hurt either. I'm way late to the party. Seriously, though, we winning the Super Bowl this year? Man, this ain't even a question. We honestly moved on to next year. You know what I mean? We're trying to figure out what are next year's odds for the Super Bowl because we've already placed the bets. You know what I mean? We didn't place the bets this year. Oh, my goodness. Matt Lee. Yes. Thank you, Tony. I don't know. Mike Lee. Is it Mike Lee like a writer or something? All right. I'm getting off of that. Gosh, my throat is so jacked up. Van Pran starts a freshman. He may have. I don't know, actually, on top of my head. I don't know. It's a good question. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. I know that he's played a lot. It wouldn't surprise me. He plays technically sound, in my opinion, and he's tough as nails, too. He's probably just a center, but like I said, I think that's probably what's going to end up happening. I guess Holmes is good with our pass rush. Hey, man, look, I don't want to go back through what I did, Vin, but if you just joined, I encourage you to scroll back like 10 minutes in because for about 25 minutes, we talked about that. So I'm not like trying to I don't want to talk about it, but like we kind of just dove all into that. So like I would just be repeating the same thing and my throat is killing me. So scroll back. Joshua, scroll back, bro. Y'all just joined. Scroll back. I can't break that down again, bro. Scroll back, dog. Scroll back. No, you're good. I'm just saying because my throat's jacked. My throat is jacked right now. I think Holmes played to the division a lot. Oh my goodness, it helps, man. It helps. We needed to. I mean, bro, look, the example I used at the end of the season was Green Bay. Like the Green Bay game was such a nightmare for the Lions at home on Thanksgiving. Man, obviously offensively we had some turnover issues, things like that. But defensively, our zone was getting picked apart because there's always holes in zones. We were getting picked apart. The ball was getting out so fast. It's like, okay, we can't sack him because the ball is out immediately. The first read's open every time. So they came out with a good plan, beat our zone coverage over and over. Lions shifted into man, and we broke this down like play by play what they've ran. And I think we probably have a video like months ago on this. They shifted to man, and Jordan Love went from being, I think it was like 11 of 13, 12 of 14 in zone coverage to being about 50% in man coverage. Yet every breakdown was like a player just specifically got beat. Like they got him on this play. They got him on this. It was Jerry on this play. It was Branch on this play. Like, so the Lions needed to go the man. And I do believe that game, and I maybe not for them, for me it is, but maybe it was just even a bigger sample size. A game like that has to take the Lions back and be like, yo, what are we doing? Like this isn't okay. Okay. We have to be able to play man. We can't just sit in zone. And I think that's why Dan said what he said. It's like a run game because certain teams like that, it's schematically, they're on top of it, all the movement on time. It's like, bro, we think about what the Lions do to teams in zone coverage. Like We have to be able to at least mix it and have success there. So I completely understand what they're doing. But I'll also say both these guys can play zone coverage. They can play zone. They're good communicators, good discipline. I think Rakestraw's better just because he's had so much experience in it. But both of them can. You already know a Bama cornerback can play pretty much everywhere. But like I said, to me, Rakestraw has higher grades across the board. Like if you tallied them up and like divided them or whatever, from press, off man, and zone. I think he's a great zone coverage as corner. So yeah. Okay. Still surprised you're on. I'm West Coast over here. Yes. Hey, look, bro. We just jumped on at the end here because I needed to talk about this. Real better than you. Okay. Okay. The Lions talked about the Lions talked about the game in the year review. They talked about that game, bro. Wait, are you serious? Did they talk about what I was just talking about? Because I legit have a video of me talking about that. I'm just saying, man. I got the sheet to back it up. Like I got the sheet where I marked down the plays they ran. I was like, what is going on? Got to get out of zone coverage. And it's like, oh, we can't really do that, man, because we go to mid coverage. Someone's gonna get cooked. It is like, come on, bro. We had so much success in it, but we couldn't live in it. We couldn't like we could throw it out there and kind of dangle it, but we couldn't like stick in it, right? We couldn't just be like, okay, you can't beat this, great. Figure it out. Like New England could do that. New England's always loaded that corner. They could just be like, oh, you can't beat man? All right. You're not scoring. We lost 29-0. So it's like certain teams could do that. Inside the Devil So Fire, bro, I gotta check it out. They glossed over details, but said it was disappointing. It was definitely disappointing. All right. Well, maybe they're talking about that. Maybe they weren't. Hey, I appreciate you, Apex. Oh my goodness, bro. Standing up strategy team building. Man, Jordy, you showing love, man. I appreciate you. Watch that last type video they did. It's nice. Okay. I gotta check it out. Those are always so fire. Bro, they stepped those up too. They have stepped up their game on that. Yo, when we have things like this, though, when we talk about things like this, part of me just like wants to go find it, like repost it, post that video, man. Make sure the people see it. But I don't even know where it is. I don't even know. No idea, man. Like for example, I really want to show you guys this Bleacher Report thing. I cannot find it. Wait. I had a link to it. Hold up. You guys will want to see this. Give me 1 second. I have a link. Where did they send me that link? I have a link to it. They sent me a link to this. I know I got a link to this. Yeah, I know I got a link to this. Okay. By the way, chat, we're gonna be live for tomorrow for day 3. So I'll be live on this channel. All right, so we'll be able to chat tomorrow as well. Hold up. Give me 1 second, guys. I gotta find this because I know it's here, man. I know it's here. Okay. Where is it? Mock draft. Here's the link. Okay, hopefully the link takes me there. I have the link. Please take me there. Don't let me down. What is this? What is this? This is not it. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. We're not gonna find it. Okay. I don't know. I think Bleacher Report like really does like rinse their stuff like immediately after like in a day. Like it's almost like everything's gone after one day. Yeah, I legit think it's all gone. All right. I don't know. Inside Den on HBO levels. Inside the Den's been going crazy, bro. Shout out to those dudes for killing it. They have been going crazy. That's facts. They've been going crazy with that. Okay, I wanted to wrap on this because like we didn't get to do the stream. And I guess we'll do this tomorrow too, because we're gonna be live. Let me know. Biggest surprise that didn't go today. Man, biggest surprise that didn't go today for y'all. Who was that? I would say for me, honestly, it was Jatavian Sanders. I don't think Jatavian Sanders went. Hey, I trade up for that, man. I trade up for him. To me, it's Jatavian Sanders. They have BB signing clip, and man, he's so good at signing. Wait, at singing. I said signing. I was like, wait, what? Okay, I thought you meant like writing his name. All right. I just joined. Do you think the Lions will draft with their 5th round pick? If I had to guess early right now. Oh man, it's so tough. I think if I would say offensive line. Do I believe that? I don't know. I feel like everything's open. I'm gonna say they go offensive line just because I think if they wait too much further, they're probably just not gonna take one. So I'm gonna say offensive line. Yeah, I'm gonna just say that. Okay, bro, I wish I had this. This is driving me nuts. All right. Oh, wait. All right. Okay, let me see your guys' name. Troy Franklin, TJ Tampa. Tampa's like weirdly the one that didn't surprise me, I guess. I mean, he was like reasonably in my rankings. Like he'd be going soon. So I guess if he lasts much further, it'd shock me. Troy Franklin definitely did. He definitely did. You know what though? I thought about like Troy Franklin does kind of remind me a little bit of and he went round 3 last year, so I guess this isn't like direct. But dude that went, oh my gosh, who is this? Hyatt, Jalen Hyatt from last year out of the for the Giants. He went round 3. I remember he was projected really high. Like some people had him high. I don't think it was as much buzz as there was maybe with Troy Franklin. Hyatt though, I would say Hyatt. After Brad just doubled up on DB, clearly our biggest position. What do you think is the next move? Yeah, I think offensive line. I think that'd be my guess. Appreciate you with the $4.99. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. I'm gonna say offensive line too. That'll be my guess. Doesn't block. Yeah, it's a concern. That was my biggest concern with his hands. If I go to his notes, where was I? Because I initially left him off the top 10. I ended up putting him in there. Let me see. Yeah, Cornelius Johnson has pretty high grades, bro. Troy Franklin to me, I gave him a below average grade in hands. So that was the big thing that stood out. You know what? You know what's funny? So like I said, your initial instinct, trust that. My initial instinct to watching Troy Brown was that he's a faster Kendrick Bourne. Yo, is that disrespectful? Hey, Kendrick Bourne got paid. He keeps getting paid, bro. I said he's a faster Kendrick Bourne. He plays at his own pace with discipline. Route runner with inconsistent hands. Yo, I don't know. That feels kind of messed up, bro. He's also taller, too. Hey, I didn't just make that up on the spot, bro. That's legit what I wrote down. And like I said, I didn't have him in the original top 10, but I put him in there. It's like, what am I doing? Hey, you got to learn. You know, that's how I learn. I got to trust my gut. You know, I shouldn't have moved it around because the NFL saying maybe that was their initial reaction too. Is like, hey, he's fine. He's not that. Give me Nugent, Johnson, and the kicker. Oh, you just went all the Michigan guys. Okay, I'm mad at you, man. We drafted a kicker. I think it's in play. Yeah, you have 4 picks. Why not? I will know this. If the Lions move up and they give up a future pick instead, I would say yes. Even out on that. Relax. Wow, Kendrick Bourne is crazy. Hey, Kendrick Bourne's not bad. Kendrick Bourne can run around, bro. Y'all don't like Kendrick Bourne? Kendrick Bourne's solid. Or was the stream today? Couldn't find it. So we were on Bleacher Report today. Tomorrow we're gonna be live here. But we were on Bleacher. Oh no, it's not there. I'm gonna try one more thing. Oh no, it would have been on a different link. I don't know. Dang, I really don't know. All right, wifey is home. Go Lions. All right, appreciate you, Tony. But yeah, we're gonna be live here tomorrow. But yeah, today we're on Bleacher Report. The link was in the community. I'm sorry, I pointed out before in our before the draft show. But yeah, that's all. I should have made that more clear. It was kind of weird this year, but you know, I had the opportunity, so I was gonna jump on it. Jack Bates, the answer. He got some buzz, man. Okay, before we wrap this up, I'm gonna see if I can find that clip. If I can find it tomorrow, I'm playing it. Tomorrow, hey, I'm clipping that thing and it's getting posted as a video. So y'all will know if I find it or not. Let's kind of wrap this, man. So you guys are saying mainly Franklin and mainly TJ Tampa. I think there's some good safety still out there. I think Hicks went, not Wicks. I think Hicks went. I could be wrong. I think Hicks went. Safety's kind of late. They do have Demerson, though, out of Texas Tech, who's solid. Like I said, my biggest one was Sanders, because if Sanders didn't go, I mean, tight end really doesn't win at all. So, you know, Lions have options there. That's a good thing, too. Between receiver and tight end, they do have, like, options. Like, they don't have to just take a receiver. I think they could go tight end if they want to, depending on the type. They have options. I mean, some people like Johnny Wilson, you know. I mean, they have options, and those guys just aren't going. But I do think tight end's different, because I think once you get past like the first couple, now you're talking about more like the Brock Wright role. You have to go get, you know, one of basically Eric All or Jatavian Sanders if you want a real separator against DBs. So what happened? Can't catch You can watch it work. Ennis Rakestraw was the Lions pick at 61. And man, I was shocked but excited. Hey, if y'all are just joining too, man, feel free to pull it back. We kind of we dove into Rakestraw, showed some random clips, but we also talked about adding pass rush. Kind of like address that just from my take. I don't want to get out of here yet. I want to have a couple more of these plays just kind of roll. I just want to see if anything cool happens while we're just sitting here. Let's just see if anything cool happens. I'm going to let this play a little bit. See, you can see him. Okay, now this wouldn't be, he's technically in the slot in this spot. And look at this. Come on, bro. Yo, the first play that it opens up to, guys, what are we doing? All right, we got to point this. You guys see him right here in the slot? That's the kind of guy that you get, bro. You see how he jumps on that? That's the kind of competitor that you have, man, right there. Taking away the screen. Come on, man. I love that. I love that. Johnny Wilson would be interesting. It would be interesting because I had him listed as a tight end, but his build, like weight wise, you could play him at receiver. I don't know how much he'd separate for you. He kind of gives me like Sage Surratt vibes in terms of like build. So, I mean, guys, are we watching this? This is what I'm talking about. Like the first two levels, right? Like when you're within 15 yards, say. Look at him off the line here, man. He's just physical. See how this is what I liked. I said he resets his hands in your hips. So he's high. And watch him. He gets right in your hip right there. Boom. Gets right in your hip. And then he rides him. I love that. Yo, I absolutely love that, bro. That right there. That's what I'm talking about, man. You're getting a physical dude. Where's he on this play, man? Oh, now he's in zone. See, look, he's working everywhere. I think he's following. Yeah, you guys see what he's doing? I believe he's following around Ricky Pearsall. I believe that's what he's doing. Oh, no, he's not. No, he's not. Take that back. No, he's not. He's in zone right here. But he does. Like, if you look at him, like, it's kind of like Arnold. Like, we didn't show him, but that reactive athletic I was talking about, like that twitch in the lower body, like you feel some of that when you watch him, right? That bursty lower body. Do we move up? I think, man, I hate this because I feel like I kind of have to say yes because the Lions just always move. Do we move up? Look at that, bro. He just works his way into it. I think I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes. I feel like I'm safer saying yes than saying no. I'm gonna say yes, they move up. All right, here he is wide. See, now we're getting different coverage alignments, man. Now we're getting some cover 3 here. That half turn. So zone coverage, like I said, they were pretty zone heavy, zone coverage heavy. So that's like a look at that. He likes to grind. He do like to grind. Me too. My man does grind. Yo, what I like about this too is this isn't like highlight clips. I'm just showing a game straight through. So we're just getting a sense of like what he looks like just in a random game. Look at this, bro. It's just like this little stuff. This little stuff. I'm talking about that anticipation. I'm sorry. I'm getting hyped, bro. Watch him at the bottom here with this receiver. Watch this. You see how he's already stepping down on top of the receiver? And then he's right in front of him. Look, boop. Now he's on top of it. He's taking that ball away. So the ball skills, right, hasn't had the production. But when you're taking proper angles, sometimes they just don't throw it to you. Sometimes it's like, no, we already saw 2 of those. We saw 1 of those. Not much to look at there. This is now he's on Pearsall in this spot. It's a run though. Okay, so yeah, not that one. Let's go 2 more. Just 2 more plays. I just want to see 2 more. I'm getting hyped up. I'm sorry, man. I'm getting hyped up, bro. 2 more plays. He's at the bottom. Oh, you're about. Oh, okay, is this where he fights back into it? No. Okay, bro. He's always flying around though, man. He's flying around, bro. I love it, man. All right, right back in there. He's on. Now he's on Pearsall. Okay, screen. All right, we'll go 1 more. I'm sorry, 1 more. I want to see 1 more pass. See, this is what I'm talking about. You see how he overlaps the underneath coverage? I love this stuff. Right? It looks like on this play. Okay, maybe more cover 6 here. But you see this, bro? Like he's already stepping down inside, reads the RPO, and then he starts to overlap right to the quarterback's eyes in the slot, and he's like diving on that. Like if that's a curl route, bro, he's underneath that. He's sitting underneath that. Like, bro, I don't know about y'all. Like, do y'all like seeing this? Like, bro, this hypes me up, man. All right, where's he here? Okay, back in the slot with a guy that went round 1, Ricky Pearsall, and Ricky's legit. Yeah, Ricky's legit. Oh, he got PI'd there. Hey, yo, Ricky's legit. And he dove underneath it. All right, we're gonna leave it there though, because we'll have our breakdown. I don't want to keep y'all here just watching plays. But anyway, That was not the right play to end on, by the way. I definitely should have showed something good and be like, here you go. There's your last play. Miles Cole. That'd be size. You definitely get some size there if you did that. If the Lions move up to the 4th, I could see them giving a 5th, maybe future 7th. So maybe something like, well, giving up a 5th. So like you're saying a 5th next year? I would think, yeah, maybe something this year and then next year 7th. Maybe something like that. Maybe something like that. But I don't think they'd move up like to the top. Like if they moved up, it'd be like, I think it'd be like 20, 30 spots maybe. I don't think it'd be moving up 60 spots. But again, it's clearly it varies, right? It's like how much does a player want to, how much does a team want a player? You only need one team that's like, all right, we'll move out. You only need one that's willing to. It's not like a price for everybody, right? It's one team has a price. And if they're not aware of everybody else's, they can gouge you or they can be like, whatever, we'll move out. We're cool with that. So we've seen it. By the way, this water is terrible. It's like straight up. I don't know what this is. They replaced the water that I'm not trying to hate on this brand. Like, I hope I didn't show that. Like, I'm not trying to, no hate. I'm drinking it because I'm thirsty. That ain't it, man. I don't know what, hey, yo, that ain't it. Anyway, who would you move up for? I'd move up for a receiver. Oh no, I take that back. If I could move up for somebody, I would go take Jadavian Sanders. I go get Sanders out of Texas, put him with Laporta, say stop those guys because Jadavian Sanders, his ball skills are incredible, man. That dude is so natural. I'm telling you, he might end up being the best like receiving option out of that class, and I think he has upside to block. He just needs to tweak some things, but I'll go get him. I think that'd be too much, man. We made the DB room in 2 drafts, bro. 2 third-round picks gave us in our first. We slid up. 2 third-round picks, Carlton and Arnold. And the second-round pick gave us Rakestraw. Legit, if we had no cornerbacks, like literally on the roster, we could go field a legitimate cornerback room. Carlton Davis, if you put Rakestraw in the slot and you put Terrion wide, you'd have a legitimate cornerback room. And the fact is, we already have Brian Branch there. We already have dudes there. So, yeah, we definitely you already have Amik Robertson there. You know what? I do like that they didn't let the fact, because remember, if you guys remember, they said that, they weren't going to sign Amik. And then Meek kind of insisted, like, yo, are we doing this or not? So they didn't let that pull him away from making this move. They still just decided to go for it. So there's going to be some real competition. And guys, real quick, just before we end this, your cornerback, your top 6, let's say they keep 6, Terrion Arnold, Brian Branch, Ennis Rakestraw. Hold up, who am I forgetting here? Amik Robertson. Did I say Carlton Davis? Hold up, let me restart, bro. I got to restart. I jacked all of that up. All right, Terrion Arnold, Ennis Rakestraw, Brian Branch, Carlton Davis, Amik Robertson. Okay, so there's 5. Emmanuel Mosley. That's your top 6 corners right now. Bro, Emmanuel Mosley was a really good starter with Sanford when healthy. And now it's like, okay, do we keep 7? Okay. Kendall Vilder is going to battle for 7. Khalil Dorsey. They all are, but Khalil Dorsey. Who else is in the mix? Stephen Gilmore. We haven't even had the UDFA yet. Oh my gosh, that's loaded, bro. Because we know injuries pop up. And we got like Carlton's missed time. He misses usually a couple games a year. So you can expect that. Guys miss time. That's loaded. That's loaded. Pull me over. See y'all tomorrow. Hey, yo, so let's Dorsey is I know I like Dorsey as special teamer too. Dude can return kicks. That's something I haven't looked at. I don't know if Rakestraw can return kicks. I would have to look into that. Might have that background. I never even looked into that. By the way, that's not the right. That's not the right thing there. Let me actually go this real quick. I'm curious. How old is Rakestraw? I said he's a redshirt junior. He's got to be a 3-year player then. He's got to be young. Okay, I don't have it pulled up over here. Let me actually flip this. Let me see. Oh no, I like those young cornerbacks, man. Any player, like, bro, but you got to do that's like 21. They're usually a dog coming out. Because then they're not like ahead of everybody. They're just a dog. Let me see. Rakestraw. Yeah, he's a 3-year player. No, 4. Sorry, he had a redshirt year, so he's a redshirt junior. Why did I read that as 3? Like, obviously, okay. I don't know. It's late. All right, it's late. So yeah, those are your. He had 2 years of eligibility. So The last thing I wanted to do was look this up, and then we'll get out of here. Oh, I think there might be. It might be here. I might be wrong, but I think they might have the thing on here. Maybe not. Maybe not. Dang. All right. I really wanted to show y'all this. I really did, man. Let me see if I maybe sorted by past week. Creator mock draft recap. That's not the right one, is it? Is it? Oh, guys, I found it. I found it. I found it. Oh my gosh. I'm glad we didn't leave. Okay, I found it. I found it. I found it. All right, bro. I don't know if this can be the full clip, but I found it, guys. Oh my goodness. All right, let's do this. Let's do this, bro. I'm so excited. I hope my pick's in there. Yo, they better not do me dirty and be like, all right, here's the highlights. Let's just take your pick out. They better not. All right, I'm sorry, y'all are watching an ad right now. Hey, I'm watching the ad too. Okay. All right. We're both getting hit by an ad, and this one ain't even helping me. We're just having ads playing. It's fine though. Yo, this should be. This better be it. I better be in here, bro. Wait. It's only a minute long.
How it shook out. Caleb Williams, #1 overall to Chicago. Washington selecting Jaden Daniels, #2 overall. The New England Patriots with Drake May at #3. That run on quarterback. Tennessee Jets. Inspiration. All of the debate round will come.
Bro, that's the end of it. That's the end of it. You guys see who's at 29 though, right? You guys see who's at 29 on that board.
At the top 10 in the fan.
You guys see who's 29 on that board. Yo, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yo, why is that not the full video? Oh, that's not what I wanted. What was it called? Creator mock draft. Bro, why did they cut it? Don't cut it. Okay, I really want to find this. This is going to drive me insane. Oh my goodness, it's going to drive me insane, man. I wanted to see what I said to be real because it was pretty terrible. It wasn't terrible. It was pretty funny if I remember right. Bro, they have the minute recap. Bleacher Report. What are we doing? I'm going to have to hit somebody up. Like, yo, can we get this video clip? Because it just worked out too well. That's the tip. Arnold's press conference is outstanding. Yo, I got to check it out. I got to check it out, man. You guys are hyping that up. Did Brad already do his tonight? I think he did, right? He should have by now. Dang, it's 1 o'clock. Where is it? Where is it? Maybe if I look up like full replay or something. I wish there was like a search button on there. That's the one thing. Like they had like a search button. Beautiful. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to find it. I don't think I'm going to find it. Oh, actually, take that back. One more thing. I'm going to see if I can look it up like this. Maybe I can look it up and just find my clip. This is so awkward, bro. I wanted to find this so bad. I'm sorry. Could react to it before the draft. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Hey, if y'all got to head out, bro, no worries. I appreciate y'all being here. Like I said, we will be back tomorrow. I wanted to find it. I'm not going to. I'm not going to find it. Yeah. Man. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. We'll see if I can find it tomorrow. Maybe I can message somebody and see if they have it. It's not that serious. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, my mute. What the heck? I'm about to say it's officially that time, bro. My mic unplugged. It's officially over. They're like, yo, it's officially over, bro. The mic cut out. We done. We done. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to even look up for that. Don't know. All right, I'm gonna end it. I'm sorry. I'm gonna end it. All right. Appreciate y'all joining. See y'all tomorrow. I'll be here live. Day 3 of the mock, or not the mock. God goodness. Day 3 of the real draft. And have a great night. Ennis Rakestraw's a lion. It's pretty beautiful. It really is. We out. Hey, and if you are just joining, feel free to pull it back, man, because we talked about edge and corner and all those things. I broke down it. All those things. We out.